I ruined my sister's gender reveal out of spite. My sister had been sleeping with my then boyfriend and only revealed the fact after we got engaged, so as to, quote, save me from getting married to a cheater. And because she felt remorseful and ashamed. I broke up with him and cut off my sister, only tolerating her during family gatherings, which I rarely ever came to if I knew she was going to be there. I moved to another state for a job and to start fresh, so I've been away from home for quite a while. Months later, I was told my sister and ex-boyfriend got engaged. To say I was livid was an understatement, but I wasn't going to let them disturb me from my life.
Wow.
I came back recently at my mother's request since she assured me my sister wouldn't be there, only to find out she was in fact there. I managed to calm myself and pretend I was okay with everything. Deep down, I was upset. More at my mom for lying to me though. It turns out they called me for my sister's planned gender reveal party, which I would have never attended had I known beforehand. I never even knew she was pregnant, but I was there already, so I had to put on my fake smile. Night came, and for the first time in a long time, my sister engaged me in a conversation and apologized for everything and wanted to make up. I wanted to bite her head off and tell her to go to hell because the frickin' audacity. But then she told me about the gender of her baby. She already knew. To try to rekindle the times where we used to tell and trust each other with everything. At some point, as we were talking, I was reminded of when we used to be best friends, and honestly, I was tired of the bitterness and wanted to let bygones be bygones. I watched her plan out everything, spend a ton of money, excited and all, but just the night before the gender reveal, ex-boyfriend showed up and it took me right back to the past. It kept playing over and over in my head, how I was betrayed by them, and I got absolutely pissed at how they were happy even after what they did to me. I realized I never had the intention of forgiving them, so in an attempt to get back at them, I told everyone the gender of the baby right then and there. One glance at her and she was on the verge of tears, staring at me with the cheating scumbag. She didn't say anything and just stormed off. It was awkward. Everybody immediately knew why I did it, so it didn't come as a surprise. Nobody said anything and we all called it a night. I'm not going to lie. It felt good seeing them distraught. It brought me a sense of comfort. All their money had gone to waste since she was upset and refused to leave her room, so the reveal never happened. The house is quiet, but I can see the judgmental looks I'm getting from everyone, so I'm booking a flight back because there's no point in me being here anymore. I don't feel an ounce of regret. In fact, I feel peace and at ease.
Good.
This is an interesting one.
I mean, I know it's not technically like the right thing to do, but like I'm good. Like I don't feel regret for her either.
My wife, Em, met her best friend, Chuck, in high school. They became close friends and Chuck came out to Em as gay. Em was supportive. A year or so later, Chuck came out to his parents. They disowned him and kicked him out, and Chuck ended up living with Em and her parents for the rest of high school. Em and I started dating after college, and she told me all about Chuck and how close they were, how he was like a brother. I met Chuck and we got along and became friends. Chuck is a good guy. May I say as well, this is a very long Reddit thread.
I was going to say,
bear with me.
Something's up. I know it wouldn't be a Reddit thread if something wasn't up.
Yes.
But I sense something in the water.
You can smell a rat. At the time, Chuck was dating a guy. They ended up moving in together about the same time that Em and I got engaged. Em and I have been married for 5 years now. I'm a project manager and I took a year-long project in another city. I have to leave at about 5:30 in the morning and get home around 6:30 p.m. every day. Em and I had a long talk about my job before I took on this project. We knew it would be a sacrifice for me to be working so much, but I'm getting more money than I ever thought I would. After this project, we can pay off our student debt and start trying to have a baby. We both agreed the money was worth it since it's only a year. In March, Chuck caught his boyfriend cheating.
No.
He was devastated. So there is a rat. It's the boyfriend of Chuck.
Yep.
Chuck was devastated. Em immediately told him he could move in with us. I was fine with him moving in, but not happy that Em didn't even discuss it with me first. Chuck was pretty broken up and Em was giving him lots of love and attention. I was fine with it because I know how much she loves Chuck and he did need her. I also did my best to support him and make him feel loved.
Beautiful.
Yeah, love that. Until, I'm kidding. For a while, this was fine, but as time went on, Em had continued to pour all of her attention into Chuck. Sometimes I get home from work and neither of them are there, and then I find out that they went to a movie or out to dinner together. I don't think there's anything romantic or sexual between them, but it has been annoying that I get left out of all the plans. The past few weeks, several things have happened. The three of us went to a party and someone joked about Chuck being our third wheel, and Em said, "Chuck's not the third wheel." And I said, "What?" And she said, "I've known Chuck longer than I've known you." A week or so after that, Em and Chuck went out dancing one night. I had to work the next day, so I stayed home. I woke up at about 3 a.m. and Em was not in bed. I went and found her and Chuck cuddled up on the couch asleep with the TV on. Oop. Both of those things made me uncomfortable. I also realised I'd been working so much, I was just sort of letting Em and Chuck plan everything, and I had not planned a date night in a while. I decided I needed to be more active, and so I planned a date night for last Friday. When I first told Em, she was excited, as we have not been on a date, just the two of us, in a while. On Friday, I got home at 6:30 and Em and Chuck were not there. I took a shower and I got ready. At about 7:15, I finally called Em, as we had reservations at 8. She answered, and when I asked where she was, she said her and Chuck had gone shopping and they were getting some dinner. I was kind of stunned and asked about our date. She laughed and said, "Oh, I forgot. Oh, well."
Whoa.
She didn't even invite me to join them. So, a point I should make here. My dad was very controlling of my mum and had anger problems when we were young and would yell and throw things. He never threw things at us, but it was just still very scary as a kid. I'd worked very hard not to be like him. I've tried to never be controlling of Em or tell her what to do. I also tend to shut down when I get angry. When Em forgot about our date, I was mad, so I didn't say anything right then, but I knew I needed to address how I was feeling. So later that evening, I told her we needed to talk. I'd written down some things so I could stay focused. I started by saying that I loved Chuck and he was always welcome in our home, but that I felt like our marriage was suffering and we needed to work on us. Em blew up. She thought I was attacking Chuck. I guess I didn't word things very well. And she started defending him and attacking me. We've never had a big fight before. We always talk and work things out. I was stunned that she was attacking me. She said some awful things. Then she said, "Chuck is my soulmate, and you have to just get used to that." Brutal, hey?
Whoa.
I just shut down. I didn't even know how to process that. I love Em more than anything in the world. But in that moment, I realized she loves Chuck more than she loves me. I thought Em and I were soulmates, but to hear her say she considers someone else her soulmate has been devastating. I don't remember the rest of the talk. She huffed off after a while and slept on the couch. Her and Chuck left together on Saturday and were gone all day. When they got back, she acted like nothing happened. I told her this was a busy week at work and I was just going to stay at a hotel near the job site, which is something I've done before. So I haven't seen her since Sunday night. I don't know what to do. Typing all of this up has made me realize I'm really burned out with all of this travel. Maybe I checked out too much and haven't given her enough attention. But how do I move forward knowing she will never love me as much as I love her?
It's actually rare that with Reddit posts like this, you get a narrator who seems to have some kind of like introspective vibes.
Yeah.
Like this guy seems quite self-aware. Like he
does.
was like, oh, maybe I haven't done this or maybe I haven't done that or I tried to do this and I know I have this history and I know I do this thing and I'm going to try and work on that. So I feel like maybe this is like, I don't know this person obviously, but I feel like I'm getting a really well-rounded one side of the story at least.
Yeah, you're definitely onto something there. Like him constantly saying, you know, I'm working so much, all of this, and I actually don't think I've carved out time for us as well.
Yeah.
Says a lot about the situation. It's just really interesting, the whole question of like, can you have more than one soulmate, or do you even believe in soulmates, or does your romantic partner have to be your like be all end all soulmate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like obviously you can't expect a partner to be everything to you. And I think it's really valid to have multiple soulmates in life. And there's platonic soulmates, there's romantic soulmates, there's like dogs that are your soulmate, you know.
You're talking about your dog Basil, aren't you?
Talking about Basil. But I feel like it's totally valid and actually it should be encouraged for people to have multiple soulmates. But I do think that there is something, crass isn't quite the right word, but there's something a little bit inappropriate about her saying, well, he's my soulmate, as if you can only have one.
This whole situation could have been communicated much clearer. I
Yeah.
think the way she went about it was very harsh.
Yeah.
Because he was expressing that he was feeling like on the sidelines and like she was leaving him out. And then for her to then go and kind of agree and say, yeah, well, it's because you're not my number one is, I think, a really harsh way to go about it.
She's
all.
like, yeah, actually.
Yeah, your deepest insecurities are true.
Oh.
Hopefully they have a proper chat about it all, though.
Yeah.
I imagine it's just there. Again, I'm not like a psychologist or anything, and we don't know these people, but I imagine they just have different ways of responding to, I guess, someone raising an issue. He shuts down and she perhaps blows up.
Yeah.
Hopefully they work it out, but man, it's tough. It's stuff like this that makes me think, I'm glad I'm not in a relationship. I cannot be bothered with these conversations.
Am I wrong for refusing to get into the tub after my husband stood in it with his outside flip-flops? My husband and I are on a trip at a bed and breakfast with the clawfoot tub. I'm a very clean person and generally very paranoid about cleanliness standards of hotels. So I've sort of trained my husband to wear flip-flops in hotels versus bare feet. We also wear flip-flops into showers or tubs that we don't plan to bathe in. But apparently he thinks this applies to a tub we're about to bathe in as well. Well, tonight we decided to bathe in the tub. He was about to use soap to wash the tub before the soak, but I noticed he'd worn his flip-flops to shower in the tub. And these flip-flops had been out on the streets. The amount of germs and trash they brought made me 100% sure I wouldn't be taking a bath. But he got upset at me instead because according to him, I'm making up new rules. I don't think I did because it's implied. It blows my mind that he thinks differently. Am I wrong?